The Zephyrians were a sorry sight in the vast expanse of the galaxy. Small, frail, and with skin that seemed to glow softly in the dark, they looked more like children's nightlights than a spacefaring species. Their large, sad eyes and willowy limbs made them appear weak and helpless to the other, more aggressive races that dominated the stars. In the bustling spaceports and trading hubs scattered across the galaxy, Zephyrians were a common target for bullying and exploitation. Their gentle nature and inability to fight back made them easy prey for the countless opportunists and thugs that roamed the spaceways. Lim-Ara, a young Zephyrian, cowered in the shadows of a dingy alleyway on the planet Nexus 7. Her luminous skin, usually a source of pride for her people, now betrayed her location to a group of rowdy Kraxan miners. The brutish aliens, with their thick hides and multiple arms, laughed cruelly as they approached. "Look what we have here, boys," the lead Kraxan bellowed, a little glowworm far from home. Lim-Ara tried to make herself as small as possible, her large eyes brimming with tears. She had come to Nexus 7 hoping to find work as a healer, but instead found only hostility and danger. Just as the Kraxans were about to reach her, a booming voice echoed through the alley. "Leave the Zephyrian alone." A towering figure stepped into view. A galactic peacekeeper. The Kraxans grumbled but slowly backed away. Even they knew better than to tangle with the peacekeepers. As they retreated, the peacekeeper approached Lim-Ara. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice gentler now. Lim-Ara nodded, still trembling. "Thank you," she whispered. The peacekeeper sighed. "You shouldn't be here, little one. It's not safe for your kind in these parts." "But where can we go?" Lim-Ara asked, her voice quivering. "No one wants us anywhere." The peacekeeper had no answer for her. It was true. The Zephyrians were unwelcome on most developed worlds. Their pacifistic nature and unique abilities made many other species uncomfortable. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. On the lush world of Verdania, a Zephyrian community that had lived peacefully for generations was being forcibly evicted. The local authorities claimed that the Zephyrians' bioluminescence was disrupting the native nocturnal species, but everyone knew the real reason: fear and prejudice. Zoklor, an elder Zephyrian, pleaded with the Verdanian officials. "Please, we have nowhere else to go. We have always been good neighbors, never causing trouble." The Verdanian minister sneered. "Good neighbors? You're barely even people. Your weakness is an embarrassment to this sector. Leave now, or we'll make you leave." With heavy hearts, the Zephyrians packed what little they owned and boarded their rickety spaceships. As they rose into the atmosphere, many looked back at the only home they had known for centuries, now lost to them forever. In the Great Galactic Council, the plight of the Zephyrians was brought up for discussion. Representatives from various powerful species debated what to do with this troublesome race. "They're useless in combat," growled the Thoraxian delegate, his insectoid mandibles clicking in irritation. "What good is a species that won't fight?" "Their healing abilities are remarkable," countered the Aetherian representative, her ethereal form shimmering. "Surely that counts for something." "Bah," spat the Volcran ambassador, his volcanic skin crackling. "Healing is for the weak. The galaxy has no place for those who cannot defend themselves." The debate raged on, but the outcome was clear. No major power wanted to take responsibility for the Zephyrians. They were seen as a burden, a weak link in the harsh reality of galactic politics. As news of the Council's decision spread, Zephyrians across the galaxy felt their last hopes crumble. They were truly alone now, outcasts in a universe that valued strength and aggression above all else. On countless worlds, Zephyrian communities prepared for exile. Families huddled together in their glowing homes, unsure of where they would go or what the future held. Their soft, melodious language, once filled with joy and song, now carried only sorrow and fear. The great Zephyrian ships, ancient vessels that had carried their ancestors to the stars, were brought out of storage. These ships, elegant and luminous like the Zephyrians themselves, would now carry the last of their kind to an uncertain fate. As the ships launched from 100 worlds, the Zephyrians took one last look at the galaxy that had rejected them. Their bioluminescent tears sparkled like stars, a final, beautiful display for a universe that had never truly appreciated them. Little did they know that far away, on a small blue planet in an uncharted arm of the galaxy, their salvation awaited. A world where strength was measured not just in muscle and firepower, but in compassion, creativity, and the power to unite diverse peoples. A world called Earth. The great Zephyrian ships drifted through the endless void of space. Inside, thousands of the glowing aliens huddled together, their soft light filling the halls with a gentle, sad radiance. They had been traveling for months, searching for a new home. Captain Zilva stood on the bridge of the lead ship, her luminous skin dimmed with worry. She looked at the star charts spread before her, each marked with red X's where they had been turned away. "Any luck?" she asked her navigator, Fenrir. Fenrir shook his head, his antenna drooping. "Nothing, Captain. Every habitable world we found is either too hostile or already claimed by species that don't want us." Zilva sighed, her glow flickering with fatigue. "We can't keep drifting forever. Our supplies are running low, and the people are losing hope." Just then, a young Zephyrian burst onto the bridge, his skin pulsing with excitement. "Captain, we've picked up a signal." Zilva turned, her large eyes widening. "What kind of signal?" "Limik." Limik rushed to the communications panel. "It's like nothing we've ever seen before. It's primitive, but there's something beautiful about it." The bridge crew gathered around as Limik played the signal. Strange sounds filled the air. Music unlike anything the Zephyrians had heard before. It was raw, emotional, and full of life. "Where is it coming from?" Zilva asked, her glow brightening with curiosity. Fenrir checked his instruments. "A small planet in a remote arm of the galaxy. It's perfect, Captain. The atmosphere, the gravity, everything. And it doesn't seem to be claimed by any major galactic power." For the first time in months, hope blossomed in Zilva's heart. "Set a course," she ordered, "but approach with caution. We don't know what kind of reception we'll get." As the Zephyrian fleet changed direction, word spread through the ships. Excitement and fear mingled among the passengers. Could this really be their new home? Weeks later, the blue and green planet came into view. The Zephyrians pressed against viewports, marveling at its beauty. It reminded many of their lost homeworld. "We're picking up more signals," Limik reported. "And, Captain, there are artificial satellites orbiting the planet. The inhabitants have some level of technology." Zilva nodded. "Prepare a landing party. We'll make first contact and hope for the best." As they entered the planet's atmosphere, the Zephyrians got their first close look at the dominant species, beings that walked on two legs, with no natural glow, and a wide range of colors. "They look strong," someone whispered, a note of fear in their voice. The Zephyrian ships landed in an open field, trying to avoid populated areas. As the dust settled, they saw vehicles approaching, primitive by galactic standards, but fast and sturdy. Zilva took a deep breath. "This is it," she said to her crew. "Remember, we come in peace. Show no fear, but be ready for anything." The landing ramp lowered, and Zilva led a small group out onto the Earth's soil. The air was fresh, the gravity comfortable. It felt like home. The Earth vehicle stopped a short distance away. Doors opened, and the aliens got their first close look at humans. They were tall, solid, with expressions the Zephyrians couldn't read. One human stepped forward, a female with short hair and a uniform. She held up her hands, palms out, in what the Zephyrians hoped was a peaceful gesture. "Welcome to Earth," the human said, her voice firm but not unkind. "I'm Colonel Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. Who are you, and why have you come to our planet?" Zilva stepped forward, her glow brightening with a mix of hope and anxiety. This was the moment that would decide her people's fate. She raised her hands, mimicking the human's gesture. "I am Captain Zilva of the Zephyrian people," she said, her translator converting her melodic language to English. "We come seeking refuge. Our people have been cast out from the galactic community, labeled as weak and unwanted. We ask for sanctuary, a place to call home." Colonel Chen's eyes widened slightly, but her expression remained calm. "That's quite a request, Captain Zilva. I'm not authorized to make that decision, but I can promise you this. On Earth, we don't turn away those in need without at least hearing them out." For the first time in years, Zilva felt a spark of real hope. Maybe, just maybe, they had found the home they were looking for. The days following the Zephyrians' landing on Earth were filled with a mix of excitement, fear, and confusion. Both humans and aliens struggled to understand each other, but slowly progress was made. In a large conference room at the United Nations headquarters in New York, Captain Zilva sat across from a group of human leaders. Her soft glow illuminated the room, causing some of the humans to squint. "We apologize for any discomfort," Zilva said, dimming her natural light. "We can control our bioluminescence to some degree." The UN Secretary General, a kind-faced woman named Amara Okafor, smiled. "No need to apologize, Captain. We're just not used to such radiant visitors." As Zilva explained the Zephyrian situation, the human leaders listened with growing concern and sympathy. The story of a peaceful race cast out by a harsh galaxy touched many hearts. "But surely," one diplomat asked, "your people must have some strengths. The galaxy couldn't have rejected you for no reason." Zilva's glow pulsed gently. "We are healers and artists, diplomats and scholars. But in a galaxy that values military might and aggression, these skills are seen as weaknesses." The human leaders exchanged glances. This was a perspective they understood all too well from their own history. Meanwhile, outside the UN building, a crowd had gathered. Some humans held signs welcoming the aliens, while others protested their presence. The Zephyrians watched from their temporary lodgings, unsure what to make of the commotion. Limik, the young communications officer, was fascinated by human technology. He sat with a group of Earth scientists, his antennae twitching with excitement as they showed him their computers and smartphones. "This is incredible," Limik said, his glow brightening. "Your technology is different from ours, but in some ways, it's more advanced." Dr. Emily Chen, a xenobiologist, smiled at Limik's enthusiasm. "We're just as fascinated by you," she said. "Your bioluminescence, your healing abilities, they're like nothing we've ever seen before." As the days passed, more Zephyrians ventured out to meet humans. In parks and cafes, on streets and in schools, the two species began to interact. There were misunderstandings, of course. A Zephyrian child's attempt to heal a scraped knee was mistaken for an attack, causing a brief panic. A human's friendly pat on the back sent a Zephyrian tumbling, their delicate balance unprepared for such force. But there were beautiful moments too. A group of Zephyrians visiting an art museum stood in awe before Earth's masterpieces. Their bodies glowed with such joy that the entire room was bathed in a warm, pulsing light. In a hospital, a terminally ill patient found herself surrounded by Zephyrian healers. Their gentle touch and soothing energy brought relief where human medicine had failed. Back at the UN, discussions continued. The human leaders were impressed by the Zephyrians' advanced knowledge of the galaxy and their peaceful nature. But they also had concerns. "If we offer you sanctuary," Secretary General Okafor said, "won't we be making enemies of these other, more aggressive species?" Zilva's glow dimmed. "It's a risk," she admitted. "But we believe Earth is far enough from the galactic core to avoid immediate notice, and we're willing to share our knowledge and abilities to help strengthen Earth's defenses." As the meeting concluded, a decision was reached. Earth would offer the Zephyrians temporary sanctuary, with the possibility of permanent settlement to be decided later. When Zilva announced the news to her people, a wave of relief and joy swept through the Zephyrian community. Their bioluminescence lit up the night sky, a beautiful aurora that humans watched in wonder. But not everyone was happy. As Zilva looked out over the glowing faces of her people, she noticed shadows moving in the distance, humans who watched with distrust and anger. The journey wasn't over yet. The Zephyrians had found a potential new home, but winning the trust and acceptance of all humans would be a challenge, and somewhere out in the galaxy, news of their discovery of Earth was slowly spreading. The real test was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the Zephyrians arrived on Earth. The aliens had settled into various communities around the world, their gentle glow becoming a common sight in cities and towns. But today, that peace was shattered. Alarms blared across the globe as unknown ships appeared in Earth's orbit. They were massive, dark, and bristling with weapons. The aggressive alien species known as the Cracks had found Earth. In the UN Emergency Command Center, human leaders gathered with Zephyrian representatives. Screens showed the approaching Cracks fleet. "They must have followed our trail," Captain Zilva said, her glow dim with worry. "We've led them straight to you." General Maria Rodriguez, head of Earth's defense forces, turned to Zilva. "You said the Zephyrians would help strengthen our defenses. Now's the time to prove it." Zilva nodded, her antenna twitching with determination. "We will do whatever we can." As Earth's military scrambled to respond, the Zephyrians sprang into action in unexpected ways. In a military base in Texas, Limik worked furiously with human technicians. His deep understanding of galactic technology allowed him to boost Earth's communication systems, cutting through the Cracks' jamming attempts. "We can talk to each other now," Limik announced, his glow pulsing with pride. "The Cracks can't isolate our forces." Across the world, Zephyrian healers rushed to hospitals and emergency centers. Their unique abilities would be crucial in treating the wounded. In orbit, Earth's fledgling space fleet engaged the Cracks ships. The battle was fierce, with human pilots showing a courage that surprised even the battle-hardened Cracks. But the aliens' superior technology was taking its toll. Earth ships were falling one by one. Then something unexpected happened. A group of Zephyrians, led by Zilva herself, teleported onto the lead Cracks ship. Their bodies glowed brighter than ever before, pulsing with determination. The Cracks, used to seeing Zephyrians as weak and harmless, were caught off guard. Zilva and her team moved through the ship, using their telepathic abilities to confuse and disorient the enemy. On Earth, General Rodriguez watched in amazement as the largest Cracks ship suddenly veered off course, its weapons going silent. "What's happening up there?" she demanded. A communications officer, his eyes wide, replied, "The Zephyrians. They're taking control of the ship." Zilva's voice crackled over the comm system. "We've tapped into their neural network. It's difficult, but we're redirecting their aggression, turning them against each other." On screens around the world, humans watched in awe as the Cracks fleet fell into chaos. Ships fired on each other, their coordinated attack falling apart. Taking advantage of the confusion, Earth's forces pressed their attack. Cheers erupted in command centers as Cracks ships began to retreat. Hours later, it was over. The Cracks fleet had been driven back, with minimal losses for Earth. As the dust settled, the true impact of what had happened began to sink in. In the aftermath, Zephyrians worked tirelessly alongside humans. Their healing abilities saved countless lives, while their technical knowledge helped repair damaged infrastructure. At a press conference, General Rodriguez stood side by side with Captain Zilva. The human's face was bruised but smiling, while the Zephyrian's glow was dim with exhaustion but steady. "Today," Rodriguez announced, "we faced a threat that could have ended our world, but we survived, thanks to the bravery of our forces and the unexpected strength of our Zephyrian friends." Zilva stepped forward, her voice soft but clear. "We came to you as refugees, seeking safety. Today, we were proud to stand with humanity as allies and defenders of our new home." The room erupted in applause. Humans and Zephyrians alike cheered. the gloom of the recent battle giving way to hope. As night fell, the skies above Earth glowed with a beautiful aurora. Thousands of Zephyrians, their bodies shining with joy and relief. Humans looked up in wonder, finally understanding that true strength came in many forms. The Cracks had come expecting to find a weak, easy target. Instead, they had faced the combined might of humanity's determination and Zephyrian wisdom. It was a lesson the galaxy would not soon forget. In the months following the Cracks' attack, Earth underwent a remarkable transformation. The alliance between humans and Zephyrians grew stronger each day, as both species learned from each other in ways they never expected. In New York City, a unique school opened its doors. Human and Zephyrian children sat side by side, their laughter filling the air. Ms. Johnson, a human teacher, stood at the front of the class, her smile warm and welcoming. "Today," she announced, "we're going to learn about Zephyrian art." Lim Era, a young Zephyrian, stepped forward. Her skin glowed with excitement as she held up a strange, shimmering object. "This is a mood crystal," she explained. "It changes color based on the emotions of the artist." The human children leaned forward, fascinated. As Lim Era began to sing a traditional Zephyrian song, the crystal pulsed with beautiful colors. The room fell silent, everyone mesmerized by the display. Across the city, in a high-tech laboratory, Dr. Emily Chen worked alongside Fenrir, the Zephyrian navigator. They were combining Earth's computer technology with Zephyrian telepathic abilities to create a new form of communication. "If this works," Dr. Chen said, her eyes bright with excitement, "we could revolutionize space exploration." Fenrir nodded, his antenna twitching. "And perhaps," he added softly, "help humans understand each other better too." Meanwhile, in a busy hospital, human doctors watched in awe as Zephyrian healers demonstrated their abilities. Patients with injuries that would have taken months to heal were walking out after just a few days. Dr. Patel, the chief of surgery, shook his head in wonder. "We need to understand how this works," he said. "Imagine the lives we could save." Zilva, who was overseeing the healing program, smiled. "We're happy to teach you," she said. "But remember, our healing comes not just from ability, but from empathy and connection." In return, humans were teaching Zephyrians about their culture and history. In a community center in Tokyo, a group of Zephyrians watched wide-eyed as an elderly man demonstrated the art of origami. "Your hands move like magic," one Zephyrian whispered, her glow pulsing with admiration. The old man chuckled. "It's not magic," he said gently. "It's practice and patience, something I think your people understand well." As night fell, a different kind of exchange was taking place. In parks and open spaces around the world, Zephyrians gathered to perform their traditional light dances. Their bodies swirled and pulsed, creating breathtaking displays of living light. Humans gathered to watch, their faces filled with wonder. Children tried to mimic the movements, laughing as their parents joined in. It was a celebration of life and unity that transcended species. But not everything was perfect. In some places, fear and mistrust still lingered. A group of human protesters gathered outside a Zephyrian community center, their signs expressing worry about alien influence. Captain Zilva and Mayor Thompson stood at the window, watching the scene. "I'm sorry about this," the mayor said, his face creased with concern. "Some people are still afraid of change." Zilva's glow dimmed slightly, but her voice was steady. "We understand," she said. "Change is never easy. But look." She pointed to where a group of human children had broken away from their parents. They were approaching the Zephyrian children, hands outstretched in greeting. Slowly, the glow of the Zephyrian children brightened, matching the smiles of their new human friends. "That," Zilva said softly, "is the future." As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the city, humans and Zephyrians alike looked to the stars. The galaxy that had once seemed so hostile now held new promise. Together, they were learning, growing, and preparing for whatever challenges lay ahead. In homes and community centers, in schools and laboratories, a new culture was being born. It wasn't purely human or purely Zephyrian, but something new and beautiful. A culture of understanding, of unity and diversity, of strength through compassion. The universe had brought these two species together. Now, side by side, they were ready to face whatever the future might bring. News of the Earth-Zephyrian alliance spread across the galaxy like wildfire. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council, representatives from powerful alien races gathered to discuss this unexpected turn of events. The Thoraxian delegate, a tall insectoid being, clicked his mandibles in agitation. "How is this possible?" he demanded. The humans were barely space-capable, and the Zephyrians were outcasts. Now they've defeated a Krax battle fleet. Murmurs of agreement and confusion filled the chamber. The alliance between a young, aggressive species and a peaceful, weak one defied all galactic norms. On a distant trading outpost, a group of alien merchants huddled around a holographic display. It showed images of Earth, sprawling cities glowing with both electric lights and the soft bioluminescence of Zephyrians. "I heard they're developing new technologies," one merchant whispered, "combining human creativity with Zephyrian knowledge. Imagine the profits if we could trade with them." His companion, a grizzled space pirate, scoffed. "Trade? The Krax will want revenge. This Earth will be a war zone soon enough." Back on Earth, oblivious to the galactic commotion they were causing, humans and Zephyrians continued to work together. In a secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a joint team was putting the finishing touches on a new type of spaceship. Dr. Chen and Fenrir stood proudly before the sleek vessel. Its hull shimmered with an otherworldly glow, a result of Zephyrian bioengineering combined with human metallurgy. "She's beautiful," Dr. Chen said, running her hand along the ship's side. Fenrir's antenna twitched with excitement, and faster than anything in the galaxy. "With this, we can explore further than ever before." Captain Silva and General Rodriguez entered the hangar, their faces serious. "We've received a transmission," Rodriguez said grimly. "It seems our little alliance has caught the attention of the galactic community." Silva's glow pulsed with concern. "Not all of that attention will be friendly," she warned. Meanwhile, on the Krax homeworld, the defeated fleet admiral stood before his leaders, his head bowed in shame. "How were you beaten by these primitives?" the Krax overlord snarled. The admiral looked up, his eyes burning with humiliation and rage. "It wasn't just the humans," he growled. "The Zephyrians. They've changed. They used their abilities as weapons." The Krax leaders exchanged worried glances. A species they had dismissed as weak was now a potential threat. "Prepare the Armada," the Overlord ordered. "We will crush this alliance before it grows any stronger." As threats loomed on the horizon, life on Earth continued to evolve. In a small town in India, a human Zephyrian medical team successfully performed the first interspecies organ transplant, saving the life of a young human girl. The news spread rapidly, capturing the imagination of both species. It was proof of how far they had come, how their differences could be a source of strength rather than division. In orbit above Earth, a Zephyrian lightship docked with the International Space Station. For the first time, the soft glow of Zephyrian bioluminescence lit up the station's modules. Commander Sarah Lee, a veteran astronaut, shook hands with her Zephyrian counterpart. "Welcome aboard," she said warmly. "Ready to make history." The Zephyrian captain's glow brightened with joy. "We've been ready for centuries," he replied. "We just needed the right partners." As Earth and its new allies prepared for their next great leap into space, ripples of change spread across the galaxy. Some species watched with fear, others with envy, and a few with hope. On a distant world, a young alien child looked up at the night sky, pointing to a faint star. "What's that, Papa?" she asked. Her father smiled. "That little one is where Earth is. They say it's a place where the impossible becomes possible, where the weak become strong, and where the stars themselves are within reach. The child's eyes widened with wonder. Can we go there someday? Her father looked thoughtful. Perhaps, he said softly. Perhaps we can. As the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what this new alliance would do next, Earth and the Zephyrians stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The next chapter in their shared story was about to begin, and the whole universe was watching. 5 years had passed since the Zephyrians first arrived on Earth. The planet had transformed in ways no one could have imagined. Today, on a warm summer morning, humans and Zephyrians gathered at the newly built Unity spaceport in the heart of Africa. A massive crowd stretched as far as the eye could see. Their excitement was palpable. Today was the day Earth would truly join the galactic community. At the center of the spaceport stood an impressive vessel. It was unlike anything seen before, a perfect blend of human ingenuity and Zephyrian biotechnology. Its name, painted in bold letters on the hull, read HFY. Captain Zilva and Commander John Martinez stood before the ship, their faces beaming with pride. Zilva's glow pulsed with excitement, matching the bright smile on Martinez's face. "Are you ready to make history?" Martins asked, extending his hand. Zilva took it, her delicate fingers intertwining with his. "We've been making history every day since we met," she replied. "But yes, I'm ready for this next big step." As they boarded the ship, screens around the world and across the galaxy tuned in. This launch wasn't just a milestone for Earth and the Zephyrians. It was a statement to the entire universe. Inside the control room, Dr. Chen and Fenrir worked side by side, their movements in perfect sync. Human technology meshed seamlessly with Zephyrian biointerfaces. As the ship hummed to life, it felt like a living, breathing entity. "All systems are go," Dr. Chen announced, her voice steady despite her excitement. Fenrir's antenna twitched as he processed the vast amounts of data flowing through the ship. "Navigation is ready. We can go anywhere in the galaxy." As the final countdown began, the crowd fell silent. 10, 9, 8. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, aliens of all species watched the broadcast. Some with worry, others with curiosity, and a few with hope. 7, 6, 5. On the Crack's homeworld, military leaders scowled at the screen. Their plans for revenge had been thwarted time and again by the surprising resilience of the Earth-Zephyrian alliance. 4, 3, 2. Across Earth, in classrooms and living rooms, on streets, and in parks, humans and Zephyrians held hands, their hearts beating as one. 1. The HSS Harmony rose from the launch pad, its hull shimmering with an otherworldly light. It moved with a grace that defied its size, climbing higher and higher into the blue sky. As it broke through Earth's atmosphere, cheers erupted around the world. Zephyrians glowed so brightly they lit up the day sky. Humans hugged each other, many with tears in their eyes. On the bridge of the Harmony, Zilva and Martinez shared a look of pure joy. "Where to, Captain?" Martins asked. Zilva's glow pulsed with determination. "Everywhere," she said. "We have a galaxy to explore and bridges to build." The Harmony's engines flared, and in a burst of light that outshone the stars, it vanished into the depths of space. In the days and weeks that followed, news of the Harmony's journey spread across the galaxy. They made peaceful contact with dozens of species, some who had once shunned the Zephyrians, others who had never heard of Earth. Everywhere they went, they shared their story, a tale of two unlikely allies who found strength in their differences and hope in their shared dreams. Slowly but surely, perceptions began to change. Species that had valued only military might begin to see the power of cooperation. Those who had dismissed Earth as a backwater world now sought to open diplomatic relations. The Zephyrians, once outcasts, were welcomed on worlds where they had previously been shunned. Their gentle wisdom, combined with human determination, opened doors that had long been closed. As the Harmony continued its journey, it left in its wake a galaxy forever changed. The alliance of Earth and Zephyr had proven that true strength comes not from dominance, but from unity. That the greatest power in the universe is not the ability to destroy, but the courage to understand, to empathize, and to grow together. In the vast expanse of space, a new era had begun, and at its heart were two species who had found in each other not just allies, but family. Together, they reached for the stars, ready to face whatever wonders or challenges the universe had in store. The story of Earth and Zephyr was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun.